So here you have the 2013 question 4. This is Leaving Cert Ordinary Level, and this is a question on coordinate geometry of the circle. So we're told a point A has coordinates 8, 6. So the coordinates of A are 8, 6, and O is the origin, so that's 0, 0. The diagram shows two circles C1, so the bigger circle is C1, so I've just roughly drawn out the diagram, and C2. So C2 is a smaller circle. So C1 has a center of 0, 0. So because it's the center of I'll write center of C1 is 0, 0, and the radius of C1 is from O to A. So A, so that's the radius of my bigger circle, and then C2 has a diameter of OA. So basically the diameter of one circle is the radius of the other. So we're asked to find the equation of C1. So if we want to get the equation of a circle, we need to know the length of the radius, and we need to know the coordinates of the circle. So the formula we have for getting the equation of a circle is this. So it's y minus x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared, where the radius is r and then the center is hk. So all we have to do is get the radius. So we know that so we know the coordinates of the point A, and the radius is the distance from O to A. So the radius is going to be the distance from O to A, and O is 0, 0, and A, they told us in the question, was 8, 6. So I'm getting the distance between 2 points. So I'm going to use this distance formula here. So it's x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So I'll label one of my points x1, y1, and x2, y2. So x2 minus x1 squared plus y2, which is 6, minus y1 squared. So that's going to be 8 squared plus 6 squared, so that's going to be 64 and 36, so that's going to be the square root of 100. So then it's going to be equal to 10. So the radius is equal to 10. So so if I'm to use this formula here, for C1, my radius is 10, my center, which is hk, is equal to 0, 0. So it's going to be x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared is equal to r squared, which is square the radius, so it's going to be equal to 100. So that's going to give me that it's going to be x squared plus y squared is equal to 100. So that is the equation of my bigger circle C1. And then the next part, I'm asked to find the equation of C2. So in order to get the center of my circle, I know that this point A is 8, 6, and this point is 0, 0. So that's the diameter from O to A, is the diameter of my circle. So if I want to get the center of my circle, I'm going to have to get the midpoint from between these two, because in order to get the equation of my circle, I'll need the center. So I want to get 8, 6. So if I want to get the midpoint, I'm going to use this formula here. So it's x1 plus x2 over 2, and then y1 plus y2 over 2. So I'll call this x1, y1, and this x2, y2. So x1 plus x2, so 0 plus 8 over 2, and then y1, which is 0 plus 6 over 2. So that's going to be 8 over 2, 6 over 2. So that's going to give me 4, 3. So the center of my circle is 4, 3. And because I figured out that, well, if I already figured out that the diameter, the radius of the bigger circle, so the distance from here to here is 10. So the radius of the bigger circle is 10, but that's the diameter of the smaller circle. So if the diameter of the smaller circle is 10, well, the radius is half the diameter. So the radius of the smaller circle is 5. So I have to use, so my formula that I'll use is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. So x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared, where I have my center hk and radius r. So my center is 4, 3. My radius is 5. So my circle is going to be x minus 4 squared plus y minus 3 squared is equal to 5 squared, which is 25. So that's going to be my equation of my second circle. And then we're told that the circle C2, so the circle C2 is my smaller circle, cuts the x-axis at the point P. So it cuts the x-axis here at the point P, and we're asked to find the coordinates of P. So we have the equation of our second circle. So our circle C2, we already got that the equation of that was x minus 4 squared plus y minus 3 squared is equal to 25. So we want to get the coordinates of the point P, and it says where it cuts the x-axis. So where a circle cuts the x-axis, y is going to be 0. So if we want to get the coordinates of where it cuts the x-axis, we have to let y equal 0. So let y equal 0. So in our equation of our circle, we'll let y equal 0. So x minus 4 squared plus, so that'll be 0 minus 3 squared is equal to 25. And we're going to have to now solve this. So x, so that's minus 4 squared plus, so minus 3 squared, that'll give us 9 is equal to 25. So then we get x minus 4 all to be squared is equal to 25, subtract 9. So x minus 4 all to be squared is equal to 16. So we have two options for this. We can multiply that out and do quadratics, or we could say we could get the square root of both sides. The only thing that we're going to have to be careful of is because the square root only gives the positive square root. So when we square this, we could have started off, if we want to get when we square something, we're always going to get a positive. But we could have started off with a negative. So we have to take the plus and minus version of the 16. Because say if we had a case like x squared is equal to 4. Well, if we just got the square root of both sides, we get x is equal to 2. But if we could have also had minus 2 squared and we would have got 4. So we're just allowing for the plus and negative. So that'll be x minus 4 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 16. So x minus 4 is equal to plus or minus 4. So in case 1, x minus 4 is equal to plus 4. And then the next one, x minus 4 is equal to minus 4. So x is equal to 4 plus 4, which is 8, and x is equal to minus 4 plus 4, which is 0. So my coordinates, so 0, 0, we know it goes through the origin, so that's already. So the point P is going to be 8, 0 because it's crossing the x-axis, so y is going to be 0. But say if we didn't want to go through it like that, we could have come off at this part and we could have multiplied out our quadratic. So we could have had x minus 4 squared is equal to 16. So we could multiply this out. So what we could do is squared means by itself equals 16, and then we multiply x by our second bracket and our minus 4 by our second bracket. So x by x minus 4 and minus 4 by x minus 4. So then my x by my x and my x by my minus 4. So x squared minus 4x plus 16 is equal to 16. So I'll just keep that separate. So then we have x squared minus 8x. And then if we bring our 16 to this side, it'll be plus 16 minus 16 equals 0. So it'll be x squared minus 8x is equal to 0. So now we have to factorize using the highest common factor method. So we can take out x, and then we're left with x minus 8. So then we have to let each of them equal 0. So we get x is equal to 0, and we get x minus 8 is equal to 0, so x will be equal to 8. So we get the exact same answer each way, and in this point we would have got 0, 0, and this point we get 8, 0. So the coordinates of P, because we know it goes 0, 0 is just the origin, the coordinates of P will be 8, 0.